2026 is a hard year to read for movies. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris and welcome back to another video. Today I've got another start of the year tier list. I did it with TV shows. I gotta do it with movies. I'm talking most anticipated movies for the year 2026. I got my tiers right in front of me ready to go, and I picked 25 of the biggest movies that are coming out this year, and I actually have them in release order. So we'll start with what's coming up and we'll end in the holiday season that is December. Before I get into this, hit that like button, comment down below what tiers you would place these movies in, and as well as your most anticipated movies for the entire year, and of course, subscribe and hit that notification bell to help reach my goal of now 200,000 subscribers here on the channel. It means quite a bit. If you want extra content, Patreon is the place to be. I have some fun reaction content coming over there that you won't want to miss out on. But without further ado, I say we just get down to business. The tiers I have today are Need It Now, I'm Excited, I'm Curious, and Don't Care. And again, I have 25 of the biggest movies coming out this year in release order. The first one we've got here is Scream 7. This doesn't come out until late February, and that kind of tells you what the state of January and February are for movies this year. I mean, usually they're kind of the dumping grounds. You might get a big release early on in February, right? Sometimes an MCU movie, not this year. We've got Scream 7 to end it. I would say genuinely Scream is my favorite horror franchise, right alongside, I don't even know what, like Saw maybe, but even then there's a lot of stinkers in that franchise. I think Scream is the most consistently great horror franchise ever, especially when it comes to slashers. I'm going to put this in I'm Curious more than anything for multiple reasons. Number one, there's no Melissa Barrera, there's no Jenna Ortega, so they're taking the story back in a new direction. We are seeing the return of Sidney Prescott as the main character, which I'm here for, but there's also a lot of famous characters and actors coming back to this franchise that we thought were dead. There are rumors and murmurs online that it could involve like AI, and I'm kind of done with AI in movies. As a plotline, it's just we are so inundated with that 24/7 in the real world that I don't need to see AI in every action movie or every horror movie. So if they go the AI route in a Scream film, that could be a mess. I'm just going to say it. So I'm curious to see what they cook up. I know Kevin Williamson, the original writer of Scream, is involved heavily, and I believe directing this movie, I want to say, if not straight up writing it. And so we'll see how it turns out. I'm curious, but I can't say I'm excited because I'm too skeptical about like the return of Matthew Lillard Stu in what role, you know? Next we have Pixar's Hoppers. Honestly, I'm kind of done with Pixar's original films lately. They haven't hit for me in a long time. The last one that really was a home run for me personally was Onward. I think that's their most criminally underrated film. And then recently we got what? Elio, forgettable. I didn't care for their run of films that went to Disney Plus the same day as theatricals. That was like what? Turning Red and Luca. Lightyear was like whatever. I mean, they really haven't had an original film that wowed me in a long time, unless I'm forgetting one. So I'm going, It's hard for me to really get any excitement for that. I don't even really think I've seen the trailer. Now, next we have Project Hail Mary, which is, of course, an adaptation of the popular novel. This is directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, who are no strangers to making great films, and you got Ryan Gosling in the star role. The trailer wowed me. I am going to say I'm excited. I think I'm going to say it. I'm excited. I haven't read the book. I probably should before I watch the movie. Will I? Probably not, in all honesty, but I'm still probably going to enjoy this movie. It looks like a spectacle visually. It looks like there's a lot of heart and sweet moments in this film with Ryan Gosling and a character that he meets. I don't want to get into too many plot details here based on what I've seen, because apparently it is spoilery in relation to the book. All I know is Ryan Gosling's got that charisma, and it comes out in March. It's like one of the big releases in March. Next up, we've got Ready or Not 2. That's right, we're getting a sequel. I watched Ready or Not for the first time ever last year. Highly enjoyed it. Give it 4.5 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. I'll say I'm curious about this sequel. I can't say I'm outright excited because you always run the risk of tarnishing the first movie when you make a sequel, especially with one that's such a unique one-and-done concept that Ready or Not is. But Radio Silence is back. I'm pretty confident in that. I'm curious, but I need to see more to get outright excited for them to justify this movie existing. And do they have an original enough story? I don't want it to be like the reheated leftovers of Ready or Not. Next, we have the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Hot take incoming. I didn't care for the first movie.
It's me, Mario.
I don't care for this one. Putting it down there right now. I grew up playing Mario Kart and, you know, Super Mario Strikers and some of the Mario games in the world, but I just don't really care. I am just not the target audience right now, and that's a-okay. I know there are people out there who are pumped for this. I won't even see it, probably. I went to see the first movie. I was like, oh, This kind of just feels like lifeless, oh, here's everything Nintendo has, and it's like throwing everything at the audience to please them. It made $1 billion. This one's going to make $1.5 billion, probably. I just don't care, personally. I have no interest in the movie, and especially where I'm at right now, I have so many other interests in movie and TV show where I'm like, yeah, just never been my cup of tea, really. I'm good. Next, we have Michael, which I don't think is going to make as much money as people are saying. I don't think this movie does $1 billion. I could be wrong. We'll see. I'm a little worried about this one because I know there were delays for so long there. I'm curious about it. I'll put it right here in the middle of I'm curious. Of course, any music biopic is going to have a lot of buzz around it, especially if it's someone as popular as Michael Jackson. This is probably the biggest music biopic ever made. I don't even know if that's a hot take. Like, we got Elvis, that one was huge, but Michael Jackson, a pop star who everyone knows, right? He's touched generations with his music, and he is maybe the most popular musician ever. You could totally argue that, right? To see a biopic on his life and what they tackle or don't tackle, that's why I'm curious, really. And I think there might be a second part to this. I don't know if they decided to make it all one film or not. I could be misremembering a headline that I read. But I'm curious to see how that one turns out, especially with the casting. You can make a great trailer for a music biopic, but once you get down to see the film itself, does it deliver? That's the question. Next, we have The Devil Wears Prada 2, a sequel that I never thought we would get. We live in an era where we're getting sequels to films that I thought were untouchable. A recent example of that would be Gladiator getting a sequel. What's next? Inception 2. We're getting The Devil Wears Prada 2 this year. I'm curious about this one. I'm actually going to put it pretty high in curious, though, because Meryl Streep is back. Emily Blunt is back, and of course, Anne Hathaway is back. So you got the three main stars of that first film returning. Of course, you could argue it's just for money, and maybe it is. There is a chance there's actually a great script and story to tell here, so I'm genuinely curious about that one. And all we've seen is like a 1-minute teaser and a poster. Comes out in a few months. There's potential for this to be truly great. I don't think we should expect this to touch the original because nothing will, right? But I'm curious, and I wonder if it could maybe be a decent follow-up. Next, we have Mortal Kombat 2. I don't really care about this either. I'm not a huge Mortal Kombat guy, nothing against it. The trailer didn't wow me. I know Carl Urban's in here, but I never played Mortal Kombat really growing up. Maybe one time at a friend's house on Xbox, but it's not my thing. I'm not even going to speak on it anymore. It's just I don't care because I've never played it, never really been invested in that world. Next, we have Mando and Grogu. Man, if you asked me after the season 2 of The Mandalorian, this would be a need it now, right? That was like when The Mandalorian was at an all-time high, and they somehow managed to kill any buzz, really, for it. Season 3 was a letdown, and we had to wait nearly 3 years for it, and now 3 years later, literally, we're getting a film that no one asked for. This is basically season 4 of The Mandalorian condensed into a movie. That's what I'm getting, and it's, oh, instead of making season 4, let's just put it out in movie theaters and see if we can make more money. I think the Mando, Grogu, all that buzz, I think it's dead, okay? I think people have moved on. I could be wrong, but I do feel like this will be the lowest grossing Star Wars film ever made. I think it'll even gross less than Solo or contend for being the lowest grossing. This isn't even sniffing 500 million. I think it does 300 million tops. I'm putting it in I'll go to the top because, yeah, I still have fond memories of like season 1 and 2 of that show and some highlight moments from season 3, but man, the drop-off needs to be studied in my opinion, for me personally, okay? I was on all-time high after season 2 ended, and they waited 3 years, nearly, and they did nothing really with it. It wasn't even really the Mandalorian season. They were just there. They were just there. It was all about Bo-Katan and some other plot lines. There was a whole episode without them, I'm pretty sure. I was like, what are we doing here? So it was a big step down, in my opinion, unfortunately, and this movie, I personally feel, is a disaster waiting to happen. Next, we have Masters of the Universe. I'm not too familiar with the IP, but I know the cast is pretty solid. Idris Elba in there. Nicholas, I forget his last name, is playing He-Man. So there's a pretty solid cast forming here. Some other big names are escaping me right now. Consider me curious. I'd go like right here, you know? Why not? I don't know the most about it, but that doesn't mean I can't be excited or curious. So we'll see what they cook up for us. I know that that film comes out over the summer. Maybe it's a surprise hit, and it could introduce a lot of people like my age or who don't know about Masters of the Universe to that IP. Next, we have Disclosure Day, the upcoming Steven Spielberg movie. An original film from Spielberg. Sign me the hell up. I'm going to say that I am very excited for this. I'm putting it at the top of that tier. It's one of those movies that you're just going to have to see in theaters. It's going to be an event. We don't get a lot of Steven Spielberg films nowadays. I'm personally still working my way through a lot of his filmography. It's a journey I've been on. I'm going to pick back up with that here shortly. I'm in the 90s right now, late 90s, but I've seen a good chunk of his movies. There's just a lot I hadn't seen for the first time, so I made a challenge for myself to watch them all. And now we got Disclosure Day coming up. Likely going to do a big old ranking of all those movies. Don't want to hold me to that, but I probably will in June when this comes out. Josh O'Connor, Emily Blunt, an Alien film. Feels very sci-fi Spielberg, like a War of the Worlds type movie. We'll see what happens. Next, we got Scary Movie 6. Again, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I don't care at all. I've never seen the full first Scary Movie. It's not my humor, okay? I know this is for a lot of people. I don't care. The parody humor is very hit or miss for me. Way more often miss than hit. it just doesn't appeal to me. I know that this franchise has its fans. I'm not a parody humor guy. I just think that, some SNL skits are funny, but a lot of the times parody humor just falls flat. It's like an old shtick to me, gimmicky, and I just don't care about Scary Movie. I just don't, so don't care. Next we have Toy Story 5. We'll go like right here. I'm more excited for it than Hoppers, I guess, because at least I have a familiarity with Buzz and Woody. But this runs the risk of further really hurting the ending of this franchise, because Toy Story 3 is the real ending. We all know that. It's a perfect trilogy. Toy Story 4 didn't need to happen. It made $1 billion, and it was a nice little epilogue for Woody. But now they're back together again, and by they, I mean the toys and Woody. That whole movie was about Woody going on his own path, and now they're just back together. So it's going to be really hard for this movie to justify its existence from a storytelling standpoint. Of course, it's going to make $1 billion. I'll say it right now, but why does it exist? It seems like there's an iPad as the villain, right? A lily pad, I think they're calling it, and technology's fighting the toys for like the attention of the kids. It kind of seems like it might be stale and desperate, but you never know. Next we have Supergirl. I'm curious about this one. I'm going to put it right here. I'll put it in the middle of I'm curious because it is directed by Craig Gillespie, who did I, Tonya, episodes of Pam and Tommy, Cruella. So he's a very capable director. The trailer did scream Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, it is James Gunn's universe, so it makes sense that they want some of the projects to align with his view. He's not directing it, but it did seem like one of his movies in the trailer. My fear is that the director's voice won't be on full display and he won't get to show off his own unique style. The trailer didn't fully wow me. I'm a little concerned. I mean, from a box office standpoint, it's not even going to make near close to as much as Superman just because, but I am curious about it, and I'm optimistic it could be a surprise hit of the summer, or not even a surprise, just a solid superhero movie, but it didn't wow me, the trailer. Next, we have Minions 3. Don't care at all. I've seen none of the Minions movies, and I've kind of just aged out of that franchise. I saw the first two, I saw Despicable Me 2 in theaters. The first one on like streaming or on demand back in the day, but I just don't care anymore. I'm not going to act like, oh, I'm going to watch them all before. I'm not going to. I don't care, and that's totally fine. A lot of people out there do. It'll make $930 million. Next, we have Moana live action. I don't care about this either. I genuinely don't. It's actually one of the most alarming live action remakes of our time because the first movie came out in 2016, I want to say. That's 10 years ago, and we're already getting a live action remake. Sure, it's going to print money. It's going to make $1 billion, but what's even more alarming is we just got an animated sequel to this 2 years ago. Not even. It was the end of 2024, less than 2 years ago. So why is this happening? Money, money, money. And that's fine. Again, I get it. A lot of this is the name of the game. It's the business. I think we're remaking movies way too soon. Way, way too soon. And it's just like encouraging audiences to discredit the original story and watch a live action knockoff that's just going to be shot for shot. It's going to make money. But why does it exist? I will die on that hill. I feel the same way about How to Train Your Dragon. I feel the same way about any of these, like Lion King. Why do they exist? Well, they make money, but I just don't. I genuinely feel crazy when people try and have a conversation with me of, oh, they should exist. Why? They're just a reprint of a better movie that's an original story. I get it monetarily, but to justify it, oh, they're gonna do this and this with the story. They're not gonna change a damn thing. They're not. They might add a song or two to make it longer, right? 2 hours and 10 minutes as opposed to whatever the original is, but I just don't care, guys. I don't care. I mean, I probably, of all these down here, it's the one I have the highest likelihood of watching, but still, I just don't care. On the complete opposite end, I've got the Odyssey, which I need now. I need yesterday. This is my most anticipated movie of the entire year. It's not even really close, to be honest with you. Christopher Nolan doesn't miss, in my opinion. Call me a Nolan fanboy if you want. I think he's never made a bad movie. Even Following is solid, at worst. So I've seen little leaked clips of the prologue, and the trailer itself wowed me. I just think we're in for a treat. And can Christopher Nolan go back to back with his filmography of winning Best Picture and Best Director? Anything's possible, in my opinion. This movie could change cinema as we know it. Not to be dramatic, but it genuinely could change practical effects. It seems like they've introduced new IMAX filmmaking techniques. Like, he is continually pushing the boundaries of filmmaking and innovating in ways that excite, okay? I'm excited for this movie beyond belief. It's my most anticipated of the entire year. If I can only watch one movie this year, I'm picking the Odyssey. And it's not even close. There are two other movies that kind of contend, but for different reasons. One of those is Spider-Man Brand New Day. I need this now. I'm putting it right behind the Odyssey. Tom Holland hasn't donned the suit since the end of 2021, so we're coming up on 5 years, which flew by, mind you, but haven't seen him since No Way Home. It'll be good to see him back in that suit and post his trilogy, right? We moved on from John Watts. This is a new era of Spider-Man for him. You got John Bernthal's Punisher, Sadie Sink in an undisclosed role, Hulk in here, I believe Scorpion by Michael Mando is here. So, like, so much to be excited about with an all-star cast. Can they do a street level story, or they go in the multiversal route? Those are questions that we still have up in the air, and I hope we get a trailer sooner rather than later. At this rate, I'm thinking Super Bowl Sunday, but I really do need this movie now. It's been way too long, and we need to have Spidey back in our lives. We need him, so need that movie. Next, we have Clayface. Curious about this one. I'm going to put it right here. It's a horror film in the DC Studios universe. It's got a low budget. I don't think it's going to do very well at the box office at all. I just don't think people are that interested. I frankly foresee this movie bombing at the box office, to be blunt. I don't know how you market it, really, especially in today's day and age. I hope it's great. We'll see. I think Mike Flanagan's either a producer or maybe even wrote the film, but for whatever happens, I'm curious. It's hard for me to get too excited for a DC movie right now. The Social Reckoning is the second Social Network film. It's loosely a sequel. Jeremy Strong is playing Mark Zuckerberg. Aaron Sorkin's back to write. David Fincher is not directing. Aaron Sorkin is directing. That scares me. Oftentimes when Sorkin directs, he gets in his own way. He's a fantastic writer, maybe the best ever. But when it comes to directing, it's not his forte. I am a little scared. I'm going to say I'm curious about this movie because I don't want it to tarnish the legacy of the Social Network. I don't think it can, actually. That movie's so perfect, and it's not like Eduardo Saverin's in this movie played by Andrew Garfield. It's not like Zuckerberg is being played by Jesse Eisenberg. So it can be its own film. It's not even really a sequel, in my opinion. We'll see. I'm actually going to put it at the top if I'm curious, because I'm dying to see what Jeremy Strong brings to the table. I think he is a force to be reckoned with. So yeah, I'm going to say I'm curious about that one. Next, we have the new Hunger Games, the Sunrise on the Reaping, based on the book. I'm actually going to try and read the book, which I always say and I never do, but we'll see. I'm going to try and read the book beforehand. Love the Hunger Games franchise. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which came out a few years back, was in my top 10 of that year. I think this movie has the potential to be it because it focuses on Haymitch, right? Haymitch's games. You've got a great all-star cast lined up. Kieran Culkin, Jesse Plemons, Elle Fanning. The list goes on and on and on. I am very curious to see what this brings to the table, and I believe it was even confirmed recently that in the epilogue we're going to see Katniss and Peeta. So there's just so much to be excited about here. Another story in this world. I said after Ballad, I hope we get another, and sure as hell we're getting another. So I'm going to say I'm excited for this. I'm going to put it right here in the middle of I'm excited. It is certainly one of my more anticipated of the year, especially if I end up reading that book, which I owe it to myself to do that. I feel like it's got to be in the excited tier. Next we have Violent Night 2. Again, I'm excited for this movie, guys. I enjoy the hell out of Santa Claus as a Viking warrior played by David Harbour, where he's swinging an axe or a hammer, whatever weapon he's chosen, and he's chugging beers in the back of his sled. That's all I need. I think we're getting Miss Claus in this movie. Probably going to up the budget a little, get more action sequences, maybe focus on Santa's backstory a little more, less on a random family. I think that would be for the better. I'm excited about this movie, though. I'm going to put it right here. High potential for that to be a Christmas rewatch for me every year, because I do rewatch the first Violent Night annually, even though it has its flaws. I have a lot of fun with it. Next, we have Jumanji 4, technically the fourth Jumanji. The third with The Rock, Kevin Hart, all those guys. I never saw the second with them. I've only seen the OG with Robin Williams and the first with The Rock. I would put this in not to say it's bad. I'll put it at the top of yeah, I got some homework to do. I'm not like pumped, but there's a potential for me to end up liking it and enjoying it, but I'm not like a diehard Jumanji fan, so I can't even say, hey, I'm curious. Like, I kind of know what I'm getting with that, which is fine. It's going to play it safe probably, but it'll make money, and I'm sure it's an entertaining one watch. Next, we have Avengers Doomsday. I honestly need this now for one reason. I'll put it right here. I need it now because of my morbid curiosity. I need to know what this movie entails. What does RDJ's Doom look like? Is it going to be a complete mess? There are now 4 trailers out there. One with the X-Men, one with like Wakanda and the Fantastic Four, one with Steve Rogers, Captain America, played by Chris Evans, coming back, which has the potential to just massacre the entire Endgame ending, and then the one with Thor. So there's tons of characters in this movie. We've seen the list of actors from the Chairs video. I mean, I need this movie now because I gotta know what the future of the MCU holds. Is this going to be a complete shit show? Is this going to be a movie that blows us all away? I have to know. My curiosity is endless. I need this movie now for the sole reason of what is going on. We also haven't seen an Avengers movie since 2019, so I just need it. I need it, okay? I need to see what's going on. It's going to be the most talked about movie of the year, for better or worse. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we get a legitimate trailer soon that drops online for everyone simultaneously. Now, the last movie on this list is Dune Part 3, or Dune Messiah, if you will. I'm not a huge Dune fan. I totally understand why they have their huge fans. It just hasn't resonated with me personally, and I don't get the hype all that much, and I'm sure that I just upset some people, and that's just my opinion. I would say I'm curious about this movie just because I've heard that the book they're adapting takes some swings and definitely is a bit different than the first 2 films, so that kind of intrigues me as someone who's like fine on those movies. I'm gonna go probably like right here, in curious. We'll go like right in the middle of I'm curious, just because, I mean, there's a chance I will check it out. There's a chance I don't get around to it. Like, I know that might shock some of you. I'm just not a huge Dune fan. And with Doomsday coming out, I'm going to be more inclined to check that out. So we'll see what's going on in nearly a year from now. But I'm curious for sure, and I wonder how it will be received by everyone, especially the general audience who might not have read the books, because I have talked to a lot of book readers. I haven't read the books, by the way, but I've talked to book readers, and they say it takes some swings. So we'll see how Denis adapts it, and we'll see how a lot of the fans respond who are out of the loop in the world of books. But that is going to do it for my tier list ranking of the most anticipated movies of 2026 based on my excitement. Let me know in the comments down below what tiers you would place these movies in, as well as what films coming out this year you're the most excited to watch. And of course, hit that like button, subscribe to that notification bell, and be on the lookout for more videos coming very soon. But thank you guys, as always, for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.